Welcome back to Watch Me Play Metal Gear Rising Part 5. This is Astro Triforce for www.watchmeplaygames.com. Please check the website out. And we are continuing right from where we left off.
Boris, any idea where they're getting the money to fund this operation? Assembling this many cyborgs can't come cheap. Not to mention getting them all here.
There are two questions we have about the money. Is Dolzaev paying Desperado out of his own pocket?
And if not, then who is?
Duh. We do not know size of Dolzaev's war chest, only that he has some funding. Insurgent does not always mean the dirt poor guerrilla with the hunting rifle and homemade bomb. Some rebel groups are very well funded. In Arab oil nations, for instance.
Right. They have benefactors who share the same ideology.
There is also a chance some other party is backing Desperado directly, creating conflict for their own reasons, like the Patriots used to. Many groups stand to profit from wars, yes? Not just PMCs. Arms maker, contractor. Perhaps it is this kind of corporation behind it.
The oil interests alone could make billions here.
Duh. Already this violence so near the Abkhazia-Sochi pipeline is affecting markets. An interruption in the pipeline would shift the balance of power between the world's oil giants. Whether it's Dolzaev's goal or no, many groups stand to gain a lot of money from this mess. Ryder, I've been thinking. What Sundowner said. How peace in Africa was a problem for him. Do you remember?
Yeah. Doesn't sound like somebody fighting for an anti-Unmani faction, does it? The Prime Minister definitely had his detractors. Anyone in that position would. But he listened to them, treated them fairly. There was no real injustice for the opposition to rally around. So the rival factions never got that popular or that well-funded. There's no way they could afford all this.
But it does not make sense for Desperado to be acting alone here either. Even if they trigger full-blown war, there is no guarantee they would get the contract. Perhaps this is about natural resources? The last civil war was over precious metals.
You think big business hired Desperado to shake things up?
Who can say? At least it has not grown into a real civil war. Yet.
We need to figure out who's at the root of all this if we're going to end it.
But knowing is only half the battle. It is the other half that will get you killed.
Well, no matter what, this mission has a nice side benefit. Putting a dent in Desperado will screw whoever's backing them, too.
Our focus is to help the Abkhaz people. But if we hurt those responsible for this on the way, well, so be it. Ryder, let's recap your route.
Shoot.
First, continue down the road you are on. An abandoned hotel is up ahead. This road ends at the hotel. Enter and you should be able to reach a hill from the roof. There are more Soviet ruins past that hill. Get through there and you will reach the rear of the refinery.
Head for the hotel roof. Got it. Hey, Kev. That piece of shit who killed Unmani. Is he one of those almighty winds?
Yeah. Goes by Sundowner. It's a folk name for this warm air current in Southern California. He's also, well, not the formal head of Desperado, but pretty much their de facto leader. Let's see. Born in Alabama, family was poor. Solid student, decent grades, but no money for college, so he joined the army. Says he fought in Panama in '89, then Iraq again, Afghanistan. In 2008, he drops out of the service and starts doing merc work for various PMCs. He was active all through the SOP years. Built up quite a reputation. Apparently, the Sundowner handle comes from all the blood he leaves behind. Looks like the sunset. Anyway, an IED put him out of action for a few years. But then, cyborg tech brought him out of retirement. The army investigated him for possible war crimes. A few times, looks like. Desecrating remains, torturing POWs, some wrongful deaths. No convictions, though.
Pretty rosy past, huh? Not that I'm one to talk.
Hey, come on, buddy. You know that's not fair. You were just a kid. You didn't know what you were doing. And it's not like they gave you a choice.
Yeah. Thanks, Kev.
That was really cool to learn about the past of Sundowner, because they keep using that name but you didn't exactly know, or I didn't know what he was referring to. So now we got the history behind the name Sundowner.
Yeah. You dig up anything more on Jetstream, Sam?
Yeah, actually a bit. Still a lot of missing pieces.
I'll take what I can.
Right. Full name Samuel Rodriguez. Born in Brazil, so I guess that'd be more like Samuel Rodriguez. He's actually not one of the Winds of Destruction. He's not even a Desperado employee.
Yeah. Didn't seem like your typical PMC to me.
His father ran a Brazilian Kenjutsu dojo.
Genjutsu. That's a school of Japanese swordplay.
Mm-hmm. A lot of Japanese immigrated to Brazil way back when. They brought martial arts with them. Those evolved and became their own offshoots. You've heard of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, right? It's their variation on Judo. Brazilian Kenjutsu's the same kind of thing.
That's
A
interesting.
different evolution of the old samurai sword skills. Bit of capoeira and some other stuff mixed in. Anyway, I did some digging. Apparently, the Rodriguez dojo was a big proponent of the Uradachi style.
Uradachi. A.K.A. Setsujinken. The murdering sword. Basically the polar opposite of my sword of justice.
Rodriguez Kenjutsu uses kicks, sword butts, even throws. Unpredictable and very deadly.
That's awesome.
Anyway, this is interesting. Sam's father was killed by one of his pupils. There were rumors one of the cartels was involved, but it's not clear how or why. After that, Sam disappears for a while, then comes back, kills the guy who killed his dad, and leaves Brazil. He travels the world for a while, taking odd jobs, bodyguard, cleaner for the mob, etc., etc. Made a big name for himself in the criminal underworld, especially in Central and South America. One story has Sam taking out a mafia hit squad, 10 men, all with assault rifles, using only his sword.
Not unheard of for a cyborg.
This was back in the early 2000s.
Come on. He did that without enhancements? And pre-SOP?
That's the story anyway. And he's a cyborg now, so he can only be stronger. Not to freak you out or anything.
I told you, Kev. I got a reading on his fighting style from last time. And my body's been upgraded. I'll be fine.
Yeah. Oh. I know you will be. Right. Head for the oil refinery.
That was a hammerhead, right? I know it's the first canard rotor wingcraft to go into general use.
Mm-hmm. Capable of taking off vertically like a helicopter with a fixed wing mode for speedy flight. A jet nozzle on the rotor provides the propulsion that spins the rotor and keeps the craft hovering. During flights, the rotor is fixed, becoming the craft's main wing. The tail wings and canards, the wings on the far front, provide lift while the craft is changing modes.
Pretty wild. And the hammerhead's the only one out there.
The design began as data-funded research. The craft they designed could take off and hover well enough, but they could never figure out how to handle going over to fixed wing. The project was cancelled in 2006, but AT Corps apparently picked up where they left off.
Sounds like a troubled development.
But worth the effort. Unlike a helicopter or tilt rotor, the machinery spinning the rotor is exceedingly simple. Not only does it cut down on weight, but maintenance is made easier. In fixed-wing mode, it is no different from any other jet aircraft, giving it a decisive speed advantage. I must say it's well suited as an escort to a tilt rotor, too.
I can see you're a fan.
Oh, I'm a fan of anything imaginatively designed. As a scientist, it pushes all my buttons, one would say. In terms of innovation, it shares a great deal with the Triebflügel, a World War II-era German concept craft. It, too, utilized the tip-jet concept.
Doesn't look like it has any business being in the air, though. I'd be kind of nervous riding in one.
Oh, but that's just what would make the ride such fun, no? I'm a firm believer in the case for more pie-in-the-sky experimentation like this. We live in an age of UGs, after all. We don't even need test pilots.
No one's gonna get on if it crashes, Doc. Hey, Doc. Kev mentioned a lot of the high-ranking military were brain-jacked. Can you give me any more on that?
Well, it is not my area of expertise, but I have working knowledge of such matters, yes. Much of it is similar to cybernetics, you know.
Makes sense. A cyborg's brain is reading signals directly from the brain.
Indeed. Brainjacking employs nanomachines to stop these signals from reaching a normal body.
The pilot can then substitute their own signals and control the victim. They can govern all motor movement, but not the victim's thoughts. It is not mind control. More like a puppet. The subject will not move on their own. The pilot must send control signals.
You can't just implant an idea like a hypnotist.
Precisely. You must manipulate them directly. Now, there are several methods for doing this. The pilot can act out the desired behavior and send the resulting electric impulses in real time. For example, the master raises his right hand, the victim does the same. The master says, Arschgeige, and the victim does as well.
Yeah, I get the idea, Doc.
Another method is to set an AI in control as a victim. Less convincing, but less labor-intensive. The AI can access the subject's memory center, at least, to recognize acquaintances and the like.
But anyone looks really closely, and the gig is up.
Mimicking behavior from surface memories is difficult, you know. Quite difficult. AIs are still very poor at replicating more subtle cues, such as the manner of speaking. As a result, often the victim can barely pass as a human, much less any certain individual. With the current tech, a passing acquaintance might be fooled, but not a close friend. Not for long.
Good. The idea of AIs controlling people is bad enough. At least I'll be able to tell if it happens to someone I know.
Interesting.
So, Doc, if brainjacking can access someone's memory, can't we basically see everything in their past?
Well, that would depend on precisely what you mean by see their past. The brain does not store every single detail the senses take in, you know. It records highlights, further simplified into a highly symbolic form, all to lighten the amount of data. We know how the brain reacts to what it was previously aware of. We can even gauge the emotion provoked. But reproducing memories? No. I've seen little progress in research to this area.
But say we directly linked my brainstem with the nanomachines of a brainjacking victim. Couldn't I read their memories?
There have been attempts at such things, but it is not so simple, you know. The connections between successive memories make up one's identity. If you disturb that, for example, say we remove all memories you have of being yourself and replace them with my own.
Yeah.
You would feel you was a great Dr. Wilhelm Vogt. You would behave very similar to how I do. However, what if instead you kept your own memories and we added mine to them? You would feel you are both Raiden and Wilhelm Vogt. Suddenly your memories would not lead one to the next. You would be confused, disoriented, without a sense of which man you were, and thus how you should behave. So, you see, the very concept is not practical for most military applications. In trying to read an enemy's mind, you would, in a sense, become that enemy.
You wouldn't know which side you were fighting for.
Precisely. Cyborg memories are completely different, of course. A cyborg's visuals are often monitored by outside parties, much as we do with yours. This visual data can, of course, be recorded for later analysis. All with full video and all in the holographic memory in their left hands.
So you can just sit back and enjoy the movie?
Well, it's not always recorded, mind you. And even then, there's the issue of locating the desired data buried inside all that video. You might need to comb 10 days of recordings from 10 cyborgs to find a single person or document. That is 100 days of work. Even replay double speed, 50 days.
Can't you automate the search?
Of course. You can flag any time a certain face appears or if certain words are said. But the process is not perfect, and it still requires time, you know. Besides which, often one doesn't know what they are searching for until they find it. But should you ever require a search through your memory, Raiden, I would be happy to assist you.
Yeah, for a modest fee, I'm sure.
That was awesome. Man, they talk about so much cool stuff.
Say, Doc, it's almost scary everything nanomachines are capable of. SOP, brainjacking.
Oh, but the cyborg is capable of even more.
You think?
I do. With nanomachines. You know this name has always bothered me, nanomachine. They are much more than smaller versions of existing machines. So much more. You cannot just take a motor and make it all teeny tiny, you know? A human chromosome is 10 micrometers long, roughly. A nanometer is 1/100th that length. These devices must be crafted at the molecular level to work at that scale. It is far more to do with molecular biology than mechanical engineering.
Okay, Doc, but where are you going with it?
It is, however, now possible to create proteins that simulate viral functions, effectively fooling natural human cells into taking on a wide range of less conventional characteristics, boosting strength or resilience or even regenerative ability. Not to CNT muscle fiber levels, of course. After all, these molecules and proteins can only make use of the materials at hand. That is to say, the atoms that naturally occur within the human body.
I'm not sure I follow. Are you saying cyborg tech is already more advanced than nanomachines?
Well, not necessarily. But the potential for future growth seems much greater, does it not? Natural means can only rearrange what is already there. Boost one ability too far, and you might take away from another. If the human race is to truly evolve, I believe we must shed this DNA-driven organic flesh and exchange it for something far more functional. Cyborg technology seems better suited to this purpose, at least in terms of military applications. But then, who knows? A revolution in nanotechnology could be occurring even as we speak. Progress rarely takes the form we expect, you know. Such is the great frustration and glory of science.
Doc, that wolf UG, you think it's possible to repair it?
Why do you ask?
Just...
Well, what?
I'll see what... But let's... Cause it...
In the neuropart,
So it...
normal, this process, I couldn't even... If it is...
So it's...
I would have had to...
Glad...
Alright, so now they're starting to repeat.
By the way, Raiden, we're not picking up any exit codes here either. They're all unaffiliated.
Makes sense. We're enemies. Desperado's EXIF code won't match ours, and vice versa. How much do you know about how EXIF works?
Not much. Just that it comes up as a positive match for friendlies and unaffiliated for anyone else.
Which could be friendlies or neutrals not broadcasting the same code for some reason. Say a damaged transmitter or signal interference. But 99 times out of 100, yeah, it's an enemy. EXIF is based on the IFF radio system aircraft use. Stands for Expanded Identification Friend or Foe.
Too bad it only actively IDs friends and not enemies. But I guess asking troops to broadcast, hey, enemy here, kill me, would be a bit much.
Telling friends and enemies apart was always a problem in the air, but it's gotten tricky on the ground too. Especially in the war on terror, with all these PMCs and multinational forces mixing together. The U.S. Army experimented with infrared patches to ID allies. They'd show up in night vision.
Then SOP came along and offered a more efficient method?
Right. SOP's gone now, but its ID protocol is still used all over. ID chips and dog tags, transponders required on all vehicles, aircraft, UGs, cyborgs, you name it.
But if everyone's using the same basic system, how do armies hide their info from the enemy?
Heavy-duty encryption, for one. The chips also use a hybrid cross-spectrum system to transmit the data. Without the proper key, it's hard to pick up the signal in the first place. PMCs typically only share their codes with nations or other PMCs they're working with.
What happens if they end up on different sides later, like in a separate conflict?
They just generate a new code and encryption key. The point is, EXIF is required on all combat units, but it's pretty easy to hide the signal.
And 99 times out of 100, unaffiliated means it's a hostile?
Right. Just like with IFF and aircraft. You're a quick study, Courtney.
Nice history lesson, Teach. Now, if you're done, I think you have a nation to save.
Just a little on-the-job training, Kev. Riding out.
That was cool. That was the first time that more than one of them tuned in like that. Let's see, let's go to her again and go to no.
Hey, Courtney.
Something different.
Have you ever tried Abkhazian cuisine?
Georgian, yes, but, I mean, I don't really know much about Abkhazia, so it'd be nice to try it, though, since we're this close and all.
Huh. Even you haven't tried it? Now I'm really curious.
What do you mean, even me?
Well, before we head to any new country, you always hit up local spots that serve their cuisine, right? You know, your little research trips.
Oh, come on. Not always. I just think it's interesting to compare local interpretations of ethnic food to the real thing. Plus, it's a great way to get familiar with a big part of any nation's culture. That's all.
Okay. But no time for research this time around, huh?
Well, like I said, I've had Georgian food before. And most of the Eastern Bloc sees Abkhazia as just another part of Georgia. But yeah, really tasty. They had this incredible cheese bread. Ugh, and the wine.
Georgian wine is famous after all, though I hear you won't find it in Russian.
They say most Abkhazian cuisine is closer to Turkish food than what you'll find in the rest of Georgia. Apparently only their wine resembles what they serve in Georgia.
How are things back in control, Courtney?
Things? Things are fine. Same as usual, I guess. Russia is, Russia. Not that I've left HQ much to see anything, really.
No concerns about security? Isn't that a civilian airport you're stationed at?
Sochi International, yeah. But we're fine. We have our own cyborg detail on the job. Plus, any trouble and we can just take off. Literally. One of the perks of housing your HQ in a giant transport plane, I guess. Now, if anyone wanted to mess up this op, they'd have a much easier time coming after you directly.
I'm not so sure. Have you seen this new body in action? It's amazing. It's ready for anything. Unless they...
Oh, right, yeah. Your body? It's so amazing.
Very funny. Yeah, you know what I meant.
Oh, is it getting hot in here? Or is that just your body in action?
All right. If you're done, I'm going to get back to the mission.
Okay, I'll stop.
Thanks.
For a guy with a bod like yours, anytime. By the way, I picked up something interesting on that tilt rotor back in Africa.
Desperado's getaway vehicle? What do you got?
I traced its registration. It comes up as a, get this, mail transport. A Somali civilian helicopter.
Not even the right type of aircraft. So the registration is fake. Well, par for the course for Desperado, I guess.
I wonder why they bothered with the tilt rotor in the first place.
Why not? They can take off and land without an airstrip, virtually anywhere. Hover, too. Meanwhile, they have the speed and range of a fixed-wing plane, or close to it. And they're quiet. You don't get all that BVI noise from the blades like with a normal copter.
Aren't they more accident-prone, though?
They were. Used to call them widowmakers. The rotor tech is really complex. There have been a lot of mishaps over the years, but each one's helped perfect the design. These days, they're as safe as any other aircraft, helicopter or fixed wing. Most of VTOL's bad rep is left over from the thrust vectoring jets of the past.
Ah, no wonder you know all this. Says here you took down a Harrier once. Wait, by yourself?
Well, I did have a rocket launcher. Wasn't so tough while it was in hover mode.
I bet you're just being modest. Must have been a pretty crazy op you were on.
You don't know the half of it.
What's up? No? Did you need anything else?
No, guess not. Just wanted to hear the sound of your voice.
Oh, save it for your wife, Raiden. What's up?
So she's probably gonna keep saying the same thing.
No?
Alright.
Did you need...
No, just one.
Oh.
Okay. Okay, so we just took out that giant helicopter boss. I should see if any of the items have reappeared. Or if I missed anything. You can go into this mode where you can see enemies easier. So you can see the barrier over there, so that means I can't go that way. There's the corner here. I wonder if there's any items over there.
The enemy's got vehicles using that route. It's too far on foot and too heavily guarded. Stick with the plan and make your way through the old city.
So that's what happens if you try to go out of bounds. Oh jeez, what is that? Where are the guys at? Behind there, maybe? Oh, they got a hostage.
Gotta be pretty stupid to try and...
Dang it, the guys didn't kill us. Try to cut off the left hand.
That's one less death today. Now, on with the mission.
Ooh, nice work, buddy. In the nick of time, huh?
Doc, that wolf UG.
Why, you
Just...
well, as you what? Of course.
But let's... Because it...
In neuro hard,
So it can't...
no, just I couldn't if it is.
So it...
I can't. I would make.
Glad...
Bryden, did you...
Yeah. Good thing I got here when I did.
I'm, impressed, Ryden.
Thanks. Now, if you'll excuse me...
Huh? Oh, right. The mission.
I can see a power up over there on that other roof that I haven't explored yet. Doesn't look like there's anything up here. Nor does it look like there's anything over there. Behind there. Let's see if we can jump over there. Nope. See, how would I get up on that roof? Down there, maybe? Alright, you can do it. Oh, there we go. Alright. Health pack. And what's this? Oh, nice. VR Mission 2 unlocked. Okay, so there's not a lot of stuff to find in this, but there are a couple things. Oh, and here's another one.
So that's where they're holed up.
Some kind of electronic lock on the gate.
Most likely it opens only if you have the right ID data stored in your left hand. Perhaps you could find a cyborg with access and borrow it?
You see any cyborgs around here, Doc?
Why not double back? Check the vehicle route again. You know, back at the entrance to the old city. Who knows? Maybe you can hitch a ride. Most likely, platoon commanders carry correct ID data for the gate. Use enhanced mode to figure out who to hit.
Obtain ID data.
What's up? Okay, save complete. Don't let your guard down, okay?
You'll need to score an ID if you want to get through that gate. Head back to the old town entrance.
So I get past the gate and into the hotel. Then what?
This road ends at the hotel. Enter and you should be able to reach a hill from the roof. That hotel was used by the nomenclatura, high-ranking Communist Party bureaucrats. All destroyed now, of course, but in Soviet days, full of luxury. Anyway, You should be able to reach a hill from hotel roof. There are more Soviet ruins past that hill. Get through there, and you will reach the rear of the refinery.
Head for the hotel roof. Got it.
The enemy cyborg's ID information is embedded into the memories in their left hand. Most likely that's what the gate is scanning for. Depending on your ID, you would only have clearance for certain gates.
Convenient.
No more fumbling around with a pocket full of card keys. But you must cut off a left hand before it explodes, or else the ID will be erased.
And then it's back to square one.
Okay, so I've yet to successfully cut off the left hand.
The enemy cyborg's ID information is in most dependent. No more but.
And then...
Hurry and get that hand right.
if I head this way and to the right? How come this is glowing on my map right now? There's a guy over here?
Just have to fight your way through.
Oh crap! I forgot I was supposed to be trying to cut his arm off. Holy crap! Because I thought you were gonna actually go down this road before you were going to find the hand that you're looking for. I completely forgot about the hand while I was chopping everything up. Alright, well, I guess we'll just have to fight our way through, like you said.
I realize this will not be an easy mission, Raiden. In fact, if it was not for your applied cyborg tech, it would be suicide. After all, you will be taking a fortified enemy position all on your own. This is the first time you've tried anything like this, yes?
Well, not exactly.
Huh. You don't need advice from Boris, is that it? Well, you will hear it anyway. We are moving past the days of small teams handling these kinds of terrorist actions. With the rise of cyborg tech, the right individual can do what once seemed impossible. Plus, you attract less attention, have a much smaller footprint. As long as any resistance is human, or those standard-issue cyborg piles of junk, we have the advantage.
Right.
And that is the key. Keeping advantage at all times. We must maintain total combat superiority. From the choices you make on the field, to the intel and support we provide as backup. We must work closely together to stay aware of all...
Basically stay in touch and stay on your toes.
Duh. This is correct.
I got it already, Boris. You worry too much.
Says the man who lost an arm and an eye his last time out.
Nah, no one expected to face cyborgs on that op. What little security we had should have been overkill.
I admit we were not ready. None of Manny's rivals should have been able to afford that kind of muscle. But this is all the more reason to be careful now. Our enemy could once again prove more resourceful than the intel says. We may need to revise our plan quickly based on what you run up against.
Revise? Don't you mean retreat? Even if I got out alive, we both know the price the Abkhazes would pay for our attempt here.
This is true. But you and Maverick are more important than any one operation, Raiden. Remember that. Even if you fail the mission, your safe extraction must remain a priority.
Enough about failing the mission. Wasn't this supposed to be a pep talk?
You are right, my friend.
I'm sure this op seems risky to an old vet like you, but you've seen all the combat sim results. You know I can pull this off.
Of course. I leave it in your hands.
I can handle this, Boris. Riding out.
Right. Head for the oil refinery.
Self-repair units are housed in Cyborg's lower torsos. Strike at the lower abdomen in blade mode to seize the unit.
So I get past the gate and into the hook.
Anyway, there are more Soviet...
Stay vigilant, Raiden.
What's up? Okay, save complete. Don't let your guard down, okay?
Oh, yeah. Do I just destroy the computer? Oh, you can't. down a bunch of boxes here that I didn't mean to chop down. That's what I'm supposed to access. Look around a bit more. Let's make sure there's nothing else we missed. Ah! 3D photo frame, number 1. I wonder what that is.
To get to the plant, first make your way to the hotel roof.
Mission number 3 unlocked. Up here, it should lead to the roof. I'm wondering what this is up here. Okay, so just the light shining through the roof. Okay, so that's where I got that. Photo frame, a display that uses stealth camouflage technology to refract light into a 3D image. It'll take more than a girly magazine to get the attention of emotion-suppressed cyborgs. This should do the trick. Girly magazine is obviously a reference to the first Metal Gear Solid. Or Metal Gear Solid 2, that is, where you can distract them with porno mags. Treasure chest over here. VP hollow ship. Electrolyte pack. A container of the molten carbonite electrolytes used to power military cyborgs' fuel cells. It can be used to immediately restore Raiden's fuel cell gauge by a limited amount. Electromagnetic grenade, a disposable EA electronic attack device that emits electromagnetic pulses for a limited time, disabling any UGs and cyborgs in the area. Nice. Because recent model UGs and cyborgs immediately shut down all circuitry when an electrical surge is detected, no permanent damage is done. So it just shuts them down, it doesn't hurt them. Part 1 of the oil refinery.
Those I have. That woman.
What's happening? Your heart rate is spike.
just dodged a bullet. All right, I'm heading for the refinery.
Awesome.
You need to save?
Did you catch all that with Dulzaev and Mistral?
Yeah, I was monitoring the whole time. Dolzaev's not really what I expected. I've seen his file, plenty of photos, but I guess I expected someone more, I don't know, threatening?
Didn't seem too friendly to me.
No, I mean, you hear terrorist, you think of some cold, calculating professional. Dolzaev looks more like some guy off the street.
Cold, calculating professional types don't usually bother with terrorism. It's too risky. Most terrorists are ordinary people, radicalized one way or another.
Yeah, I guess so.
Of course, that doesn't make what they do any easier to forgive. What about Miss Trawl? What'd you think?
Well, she's certainly attractive. Probably an artificial face, though. I'm guessing most of her is artificial.
Roger that. Alright, so we will continue in the next part. This has been Astral Triforce for WatchMePlayGames.com. Please check the website out. Hope you enjoyed this video. Please tune in next time for the next part. This is Metal Gear Solid. Watch me play Metal Gear Rising.